everyone. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. Happy Monday. Hope you all are having a great day. Whatever it is you did over the weekend, whatever it is you're doing today, welcome, welcome, welcome. I hope you guys are hearing me fine. My computer is a little bit being a little bit whack today. So I hope you guys are hearing me. Maybe give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're hearing me. That would be awesome. But if you are, welcome to Facts and Two Cents. As you know, we are a channel that's supposed to do Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Poola Guy, the chickens, all of us here at Sussex Squad. Welcome, 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 my friends. I am going to check who is in the chat. If you guys could give me a little bit of a thumbs up if you're hearing me. I hope you are. I really hope you're hearing me. That would be fantastic. Let me know. Anyway, who's in the chat right now? I see Lydia. Hi, Lydia. How are you? And thank you, Lydia. Reminding everyone, if you're new here and you haven't subscribed, please click the click the like button. Definitely click the share button. Share it with your friends and click the subscribe button and definitely click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. So thank you so much for reminding us, Lydia. I'm gonna click down here. Let me see if anyone. Okay, so V Thomas is hearing me. Okay, so I'm assuming everyone is hearing me. Or please, yeah, give me a thumbs give me a thumbs up. My sound is I'm having some sound issues, so I'm a little bit nervous with this microphone. So yeah, let me know. Let's make sure that you're hearing me. That'd be really awesome. But let's see. In the meantime, let's see. Vinny is here. Hello, Vinny, and Connie Bomber. And who else is here? Oh, our awesome moderator Church Nelly is here, giving everyone a thumbs up from South Carolina. Hello to all our awesome squaddies in South Carolina. And who else is here? Joan Commonwealth is here, and Catherine is here. Hello, guys. And awesome moderator Karen M is here. Hello, Karen. And Joyce and Annie and Hazel. Hello, Hazel. And Brenda and Carolyn. Hi, my friends. And Robert joining us from Rome. Robert, I'm assuming you in the bar having some Martinelli spritz for me. That would be really awesome. Enjoy for me. And Blackweed is here. And Madam Truff. Oh, how do you say this? Truffal? 451. I just butchered that. I know I just butchered that. So so I am sorry, Madame Truth. But welcome. I think I said V Thomas before. If I didn't, sorry. But welcome, V and Joan Garcia and Nelly and Emily. Hello, my friends, my awesome friends, Rohini and Sharon. And Vayawa is here and Kanitha. Hello, hello, hello. So I will say hello to all of my other friends. Oh, Terry's here. Hello, Terry and Carolyn. How are you guys? And just saying hello to everyone. So and I'll catch all my other squaddies as I go through. So welcome, guys. Stuff is happening, going on. Our faves have been quiet since the documentary dropped. So let's say, yeah, definitely since the documentary dropped, they have been quiet under their tree, which is what we hope for them. So that's great. Whatever it is they're doing there. But today we had some incredible news. I was like, oh, this is great. Again, they work in silence and they work, in stealth. So whenever we're not hearing from them, we know they're doing something great. And so this dropped today, and it was just like, oh, I was not expecting anything else other than Despair coming out in January. No one was expecting this, and so it's just like, this was a wonderful surprise that's going to be coming out. It's another documentary. It's a documentary coming out December 31st. And so the Nelson Mandela Foundation dropped this today. It says the foundation is proud to announce the launch of a new Netflix series on on effective leadership in collaboration with Blackwell and Ruth and Archwell Productions, inspired by the legacy of Nelson Mandela. And it's called Live to Lead, and it premieres December 31st on Netflix. And what I love about them, because Netflix is now like, oh, I'm like, ooh, Tyler is now gonna be doing stuff with Netflix, and now the Nelson Foundation is gonna be doing this with Ashwell, producing it, and with Netflix. So when Netflix says that they have a whole, they have a bunch of projects working with the Sussexes, this is fantastic. And of course, we know that coming up, we're also gonna get the Heart of Invictus, and I'm assuming that will come out either during or close to the start of the Invictus Games in September. Oh, Dina Codoso, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Merry Christmas, battle. Aw, thank you, Dina. Merry Christmas to you as well. Let's pray for our faith's protection from all the evil on that island. Yes, 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 yes. We'll get to that evil in a second, but I thought we'll start off with some good news, because I've been in a kind of irritated all of yesterday, and it's just been like, ugh. So we'll get to that one in a second, but this wonderful news is great. And Scobie gave us a little bit more info on it. It says, executive produced by Prince Harry and Meghan, Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Live to Lead, a Netflix docuseries inspired by the legacy of Nelson Mandela, sees leaders and activists reflect on their legacies and share message of courage, compassion, humility, and hope. And as you can see, oh shoot, I forgot to bring in some of the name. One of them, at least you can see Ruth Bader Ginsburg in the middle. You can see Jacinda Ardern on the top right over there, and then you can see who else Greta Thunberg. You can see in the sort of the middle there, and oh shoot, now I'm forgetting her name. It's like my brain just froze. Oh, Gloria Steinem. Oh my goodness, my brain literally froze on Gloria Steinem's name. And so that's Gloria at the top. The gentleman to the left of her, he is a rugby guy. I am so sorry. I forgot that I am to bring in the names so that we can have the names. So next podcast, I'll bring in the names. Or if anyone is on Twitter at the second, if you bring it in, we'll be able to say who their names are. But the gentleman on the right right at the top, actually, the top of Greta Thunberg, he is a rugby player from South Africa. That I remember. And the gentleman at the bottom right of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, he is a lawyer from the US. I think at least he sounds American. And the gentleman at the bottom of Greta, he is from South Africa. And so again, I completely forgot to bring in the names of so that I can say. So next time, or if anybody is on Twitter, if you can grab it for me, and so that I can share that, would be fantastic, because I'm not on Twitter at the second. And but this is fantastic news. It's absolutely fantastic. And again, nobody was expecting this. No one was expecting it. And so I just think it is absolutely, absolutely, absolutely fantastic. So again, we have something to look forward to. Again, when I saw the Christmas card, I just assumed that's the last we'll hear of them for the year, and then we'll pick up again with them for the promotion, if there is a promotion of Spare, which there is a rumor going around that Harry's going to be doing an interview with what's his name guy, blonde hair guy from CNN. Is he have blonde hair, or is it white hair? I don't know. I haven't played Anderson Cooper. I think it's white hair. He has like I think it's like more like silver hair. So Anderson Cooper. So there is that, there is that rumor that he's going to do, and I think it's for what the rumor is that it's going to be for 60 Minutes. And I think 60 Minutes is with CBS. You guys could correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't seen 60 Minutes in years. So I think it's CBS. And if it's CBS, then, CBS will have a real coup because, one day had the Oprah Winfrey interview. And if this is a go, then there you go. If Anderson Cooper is doing it and is a go, then again, I think CBS is the one that broadcasts 60 Minutes. So I think that would be a great interview. I mean, and I really would look forward because Anderson Cooper he's a real journalist. And I would love, for me, I just want a nosy journalist, a journalist who will ask questions. Oh, thank you, Mad World. She says 60 Minutes is part of CBS. Okay, great. Thank you so much. I just haven't watched it in years and I couldn't remember. So thank you for that. Marilyn's like, I love Anderson Cooper. I do too. It's, and so I just want a snoopy journalist. I want a journalist that will ask questions that squatties want and to get answers that squatties want to know. I mean, I am nosy and I am a person that will do follow-up questions. What do you mean? But, explain, what I mean? Some people just like to ask a question and get the soundbite so they can just write it up. I want to know everything. I want to know the ins and outs of everything. So I hope if it happens with Anderson Cooper, that Anderson Cooper would ask probing questions. And that's what I want. And I am just, and he's not, I don't know how much he's into the royals. I have no idea. I haven't really seen an Anderson Cooper interview in a long time. So I don't really follow him, but what I remember of him, he is a great guy. So yeah, I just, I want to, I just don't want like, so how is it going? It's okay. And then move, not that they would do that, but I love it when a journalist asks follow-up questions so that people can explain themselves. So that way there is no like guessing about what they mean. And it could mean this and it could mean this. And then when there's room to guess, all sorts of stuff comes in there and everybody sort of guess and then run away with whatever they think he means. And I'm like, look, if I'm sitting in front of a person, I want to ask them so I'm very, very clear on what they're talking about so that there's no room for guessing. And just because I'm nosy. So yeah, that too. I absolutely confess I am guilty. Lydia says, hi, Lydia. Awesome moderator says, Prince Harry doesn't mind saying, I will not share that. He even told Oprah no when pressed for the name of who asked the skin tone. Yeah, exactly. And that is the thing. You as a journalist, you can't be afraid to ask the question. Let them say no. And so I think sometimes, especially if it's somebody that they may admire or whatever, sometimes I feel like some journalists are a little bit afraid to push. And I was like, no, they're in front of you. Push. Let them say no. And Harry is the same way. And even in the docuseries, when, Liz Garbus was asking him for the list, because Meghan is like, yeah, he has a list. And Harry was like, nope, not saying. And then he's like, she is the list. I was like, good. And Meghan's like, good answer. He will say no when he doesn't want to. And I appreciate that. So as a journalist, you cannot be afraid to push it and let them say no. Because or they just may answer. You never know. So I hope if that happens, I actually would really like that. I would really like that because I think Anderson Cooper is a cool, at least what I remember of him, would be cool. And yeah. And so, yeah. And also, too, I think Anderson Cooper, I don't know what it's like now, but he had kind of like the American version of an aristocratic, at least family. The Vanderbilts, I think they were, who were very, very wealthy. They were like old money in the US. I don't know because I think something happened to their money. I don't really know. So I don't think they have that kind of influence anymore, I don't think. But their name is very, very, old money America. And so that's where Anderson Cooper, that was his parents. I think it was Gloria Vanderbilt, I think his mom's name is. So he comes from the American version of aristocrats, if you want to call it that. So, Yeah, but I mean, Anderson Cooper doesn't seem to be much into that sort of thing. He's kind of like, get your hands dirty, go to some war-torn country or something. That's the kind of person he is. He seemed to be, at least who I remember him being. So that's kind of cool. So, but this, back to this. Sorry, we kind of got off our Anderson Cooper there. But back to this. This seems, it again, it would be very, very inspiring. Again, I don't know if these are the only people that are in the documentary, at least, or maybe these are because these are famous people. So maybe that's just the people that's, front facing it. And then there are more people that are going to be a part of it. Like, I would love to see, say, Black women leaders. I mean, I will notice that that's missing there. I will notice that. And so I'm hoping. So, I mean, but, again, these leaders are amazing. And so I don't know. It's really weird because Ruth Bader Ginsburg, didn't she die a couple of years ago? So I don't know if this is, they got this interview before she died, or this is just clips from her talking about leadership. Don't know. But I mean, I think was it a year ago or maybe 2 years ago that Ruth Bader Ginsburg? I forgot the date she died, but it's just very interesting. It's like, oh, very, and if it is, though, maybe they've been working on this for quite a while. Who knows? But it was just a wonderful surprise. Absolutely, absolutely a wonderful surprise. Let's see. What I kind of don't even have like a plan. I just like pulled up different things and talking about this, actually one of our squaddies posted this and I was just like so irritated at Variety. And if you remember, like the last interview that Meghan did was with Variety, and they had presented, they had like the Women of Power Women or something like that award, and she did a whole spread. Well, she was supposed to be a part of it, but because Queen Betty had passed away, she had to put it off and not be at the event that had Oprah and all of those were there. And so then she did it later, and she did the interview with them, and I even pulled in a bunch of their clips and in our community page and all of that stuff. And then Variety has, in the last like month or so, they just did this really horrible review of Harry and Meghan docuseries. And then I don't even know when they posted this, but I saw one of our squaddies posted both of these. And this is what they said: Harry and Meghan lack a second act. So Netflix and Spotify shouldn't look to them as a long-term programming strategy. And I just feel, and you will see this, and I don't know if you've noticed this, it was quite a few of, whether it's reviewers or American magazines, or even say, The View, ABC, NBC, they are all trying to feed in, and actually even tweeted at Variety today and basically calling them clowns. Because they are having ABC and NBC have always been shady. That's why they're, but you see a lot of these magazines are all of a sudden having this negative turn, and it's kind of like they're embracing the British press kind of culture. And I even saw a video a couple of days ago where Us Magazine, I think someone was from I want to say it was either the Daily Mail or the Sun, and a couple of other tabloids from the US and the British tabloids talking about working together. And someone posted it. This girl, she's not a squatty, but she posts a lot of videos and stuff of the Sussexes and about what from the UK, like the TV shows and stuff like that. And so she posted that, and it's one of those things where you really see them working together. Like a few days ago, she posted, I think it was her that posted a clip of Tom Bauer on TMZ. You see an article recently of an article, and it might have been written by a British journalist that sometimes sort of like do guest spots in the New York Times. They were quoting Tom Bauer, and there was this like negative slant. All of a sudden it's like a lot more than it was earlier. And it's really interesting, and a lot of them had this really vicious, review of Harry and Meghan, the first part. And I think it was what kind of knocked their sales out. None of them expected it to do well. None of them expected it to do as well as it did. And all of a sudden it did all these great numbers and it sort of like knocked them back. And so it was very interesting, to see that. And, again, hating, especially Meghan, is a $1 billion industry. And so a lot of them are starting to adopt and use a lot of British reporting. But we'll come back and talk about, what happened a couple of days ago. We talked about it a little bit on the last episode. But it was very funny today with the squaddy. She posted this thing from Variety, and then she tweeted at them as well, this exact thing with Netflix releasing the new docuseries, and she basically mocked them as well. And I was like, you guys are clowns. I wish Meghan will throw back whatever award that you gave her. And you could, it's so funny when they were doing all those things and they did the video and stuff. It just seemed really fake Hollywood, and the way how some of them were doing, and it was like this pretend love. And then so part of me feel like, I'm not shocked, but it's just disappointing. It's very disappointing to see, like a couple months ago, they're whining her and dining her. Oh, come, let's do an interview with us to give us clout, and then they kick you to the curb. That is the kind of thing. It's Hollywood is so cutthroat, and it's very disappointing to see that. So needless to say, I'm blocking them. So, but I'm really happy that we can just throw this in their faces. I don't know, I was being really petty. And so Netflix, they posted this. Their voices give us hope. Their actions shape our world. Their leadership inspire our future. Live to Lead, a documentary series presented by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, premieres December 31st. So again, it's very exciting. I'm really happy that Harry and Meghan are doing their thing and not allowing the negativity to just, because especially what's been happening the last couple of days, if you guys have been on social media, I don't know how it's been in in other social media platforms, because I only really just follow royal stuff or Sussex stuff on Twitter. But it has been like a mess. And with the Jeremy Clarkson thing, and we all know what he said, and I refuse to bring it in here. I refuse to read that whole thing. And it's really interesting because it's so funny, because you would see, like, I've seen clips of, say, GMB and all of those, and BBC, and the reporters, and it's sort of like I'm faking like I'm outraged about it, but when it seemed like there's such a glee for them to say the words about dragging Meghan through the streets, and it was just like, I can't even read that. I literally stayed away from it. I saw it like a couple of times, and I was like, I can't even read it. It's so disgusting to me, and it just seemed like they just are just salivating to say those words, and it's just like, and then faking outrage, and it's just like, ew, and honestly, I just honestly feel like a lot of them feel the same way, and they just, they're embarrassed, or they wouldn't want to say it on live TV, or but behind backs, I think a lot of them think the same way, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of them feel the same way. So anyway, Jeremy, and I'm sure you guys have seen it and heard, so I'm not going to read that whole thing, because it's just, for me, just too disgusting. And so today, this thing has been condemned in more ways than one. I've never seen that many people, and even people that normally hate Harry and Meghan, especially Meghan, are all condemning this thing. And including the mayor of London, Mayor Khan, reporters, even some tabloid people are condemning. It's like, are condemning it, because again, it's like, it's just so gross. And but the thing about it, that for me, even with the tabloids, it's like, or reporters in the UK, I'm like, well, he's done this before. Piers Morgan has been doing this for how many years now? Over 4 years, attacking Meghan just about every day doing this. What exactly did you think was going to happen with this? You've all been silent to this whole thing. All it's doing, it's just escalating because all of you have been silent. So I don't really understand why you're shocked at any of this, you know? And so, but they're all been outraged about it. And so Jeremy Clarkson decides, okay, I'm going to post a non-apology. And this was his non-apology. Oh dear, I'd rather put my foot in it. In a column I wrote about Meghan, I made a clumsy reference to a scene in Game of Thrones, and this is going down badly with a great many people. I am horrified to have caused so much hurt, and I shall be more careful in the future. That's it. That's his non-apology for what he did. And it's one of those things that is like, it's exactly what I expected. Nothing is going to happen to him. The IPSO or whatever it's called in the UK that sort of monitors the press and and stuff like this, and I guess what supposedly will fine people, or if they breach their their standards, whatever. According to them, all that horrible thing that Jeremy Clarkson wrote doesn't breach their rules, and so pretty much nothing is going to happen to Jeremy Clarkson at all when it comes to the regulations, for their press. So he can pretty much say that. And it is just, it's so despicable. And I mean, the only good thing about this is a lot of people have been linking him to Camilla and the royal family. So they are calling out the royal family. I finally saw the Independent, the first news outlet that I saw that literally link her to Jeremy Clarkson, who is actually a friend of hers, and talking about the party. So more and more people on Twitter, I mean, the squad, we've been doing it the whole of yesterday and the day before, we've been doing it. And so more and more people, who have much bigger platforms than we do, are all linking it back to the royal family and Camilla. And of course, the royal family are silent. They usually only speak out about racism and all of misogyny and sexism, whatever it is, when it has to do with football. Other than that, no, they don't say anything. Or if they stand to gain something. For example, get a picture of Ngozi Fulani smiling at Buckingham Palace. That's the only time they will address these things. So far, they have said not a word. And so Scobie was writing about, he says, non-apology probably prompted by his agent follows a 6,000, that's right, 6,000 and counting complaints received by the IPSO News. I'm more interested in hearing from the Sun editor-in-chief and the section editor who gave final sign-off on the column, which is so much more than a Game of Thrones reference. And that's a lot of the things that a lot of people who have been sort of, supporting Jeremy and are okay with what Jeremy Clarkson wrote. They, apparently some of it is from, as he said, like, oh, it's a reference from the Game of Thrones, but there's so much more in that article that has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. It's just sick, and they're using Game of Thrones as a way to make an excuse for this deplorable behavior. And so the thing about it is, Jeremy Clarkson could write this stuff if he wants to, but the more interesting is who it is that allowed it to get, even though it's the Sun, it's a disgusting Rupert Murdoch tabloids, they're editors that had to approve that. And one of the top editor is a woman. And this woman was on the BBC yesterday. And the reporter from the BBC hosting the panel never brought up this incident. And you're like, how could you have the editor of the Sun knowing that this stuff is there and people are screaming about it? The BBC of course, the reporter that's hosting the panel not once mentioned it. It was like they brought her there so that she can basically call Harry and Meghan a liar for saying that, the palace leaked negative information to the different tabloids about them. This woman literally stood there and basically called Harry and Meghan a liar. Meanwhile, Dan Wooten, who working at the Sun when he made the video, saying that it's from the royal family that all the negative articles are leaking from. And it's just the most ridiculous thing I had ever seen in my life. And it was so negligent of this BBC reporter to not bring this up. And I'm so happy that a lot of other reporters have been calling her out. Because how could you not bring this up and address this with the editor of the Sun? But she didn't do it. And so now the Sun are like, oh, we have no comment. Of course not. Nothing is going to happen to them. They've now gotten great publicity, worldwide publicity. And they're probably like, well, now they're like, well, let's see what other nasty stuff we can post. Because we know the IPSO, which is useless, it will do nothing, which is what is happening right now. It is unbelievable in this country. So Hacked Off decided that they are going to do something about it. So they said, add your name to the letter below today and calling for the Secretary of State to act on press misogyny by implementing independent press regulations to protect all victims of press abuse. So if they're not going to do anything, Hacked Off or Hacking Inquiry, who they basically go after people with especially this racism and all of that stuff that's in the press. And so they're doing this letter. And so hopefully someone in government, as they're sending it to the Secretary of State, that they will act to do something or enact some law, because the IPSO is absolutely useless. Absolutely useless. So Scobie, who I'm getting all my stuff from now, is journalists, media folks, readers, viewers, activists, friends, which I'm going to sign when I'm done. An important start to much needed discussion about implementing an independent regulations to protect victims of press abuse. And so this is a little bit of their letter, and they talk about, it says on Friday, and I'll get into the chat in a second, but it says on Friday's edition of The Sun, Jeremy Clarkson said he was dreaming of the day Meghan Markle would be paraded in the streets naked and pelted with excrement. The Sun can get away with this because they are in IPSO, a complaint handler controlled by the press. That's right. The press actually controls the IPSO. That's why they would never hold them accountable. So it's basically add your name so that basically they can, you can help to protect people from press abuse. And so the letter says, Dear Secretary of State, the vile misogynistic attack written by Jeremy Clarkson about the Duchess of Sussex in the Sun newspaper demonstrates a horrifying danger of a rabid, unregulated press. The Sun newspaper should not be allowed to perpetuate its platform for hate speech and incitement of violence against women or any other minority group for the purpose of profiteering. The graphic and bullying language used in the column and the lack of redress given to victims to such articles is further evidence that that IPSO is an impotent regulator and failed to address the harmful effects of dangerous, irresponsible publishing. Meghan Markle has made public statements about her own suicidal thoughts caused by press intrusion and abuse, yet the editor of the Sun newspaper saw fit to publish this damaging article in full knowledge of this. In the absence of competent regulations or an editor's code that prevents hate speech, there is no way of holding the editor of the newspaper, Victoria Newton, this is the one who was on the BBC yesterday, and the CEO of News UK to account. As it stands, without any regulations to protect the public, national newspaper can call for women to be pelted with lumps of excrements in the street without consequence. 10 years after the Leveson report and in a rampant media climate of dangerous and harmful online abuse, and these articles are even more damaging than when the report was delivered. All parties promised to implement this system, which would have helped targets of this type of abuse, but instead victims of the press have no recompense. We call on the government to take press misogyny seriously and implement the Leveson's recommendation without further delay to ensure that all newspapers are independently regulated and the public is protected from press abuse. So hopefully they will do something. Hopefully this will do something. And if nothing else, with all this despicable mess, that at least this is driving this is conversations that have never been really had. People have been ignoring the abuse of Meghan and so many other women. I mean, women are being killed in so many different areas, in so many different ways, because of this misogyny, because of the hate, because of the racism that is not being addressed. So I am just so happy that they're doing something about it. I am so happy that to see, reporters finally waking up and to see, like, okay, this is, and the funny thing about all of this is all of those people who were claiming that Meghan and Harry's, her documentary and all the claims they made with the documentary about being abused by the press, a lot of the people in the press, Rebecca English and Robert Eden and Robert Joseph, they all were screaming that Harry and Meghan were lying. And then this happened, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my gosh, they were telling the truth. They basically confirmed everything that Harry and Meghan were saying in the documentary. So in a roundabout, horrendous way, what this has done was confirmed for everybody. So nobody is in the dark anymore. It's confirmed for everyone what Harry and Meghan have said is true. And this is what they have been living in. So everybody's like, well, it's a good thing they left because what they're saying is true. This is despicable. So at least for the last couple of days, it has united people that normally would never be united about something, that this is unacceptable, that you can't live with this kind of thing. This is untenable. And so at least for this, so hopefully they will kick IPSO into the core, IPSO to the curb, and they have something that can really protect people from the press. Nobody should have to put up with this mess. No one at all. And I just realized I did that. A bunch of squatties had come together and wrote a letter, and I just realized I forgot to bring it in. Oh, sorry. What I'm going to do is actually I'm going to post it in our community page, and so that you can read it. A bunch of squatties had gotten together and they wrote this amazing letter and calling people to unite and, basically condemn this and unite against this kind of abuse. And it's unacceptable. And it's a really great letter. It's so funny, when I got it and I saw the signage, I thought it was somebody from the, an organization from the UN or something. And then I looked it up and I was like, couldn't find it. So I was like, oh, who are these people? Because I deleted it, because I'm like, I don't know who they are. I love the content, but I couldn't figure out who they were. And then another squatty told me about it and gave me the link. So I went into the spaces and listened for a few minutes and, and thanked them for putting the letter together. And I forgot to bring it. So again, I'm going to post it in our show notes so that way you can read it. And please share it. It is really, really great letter about exactly this. And so that way, this is it. I mean, it's so unacceptable. And I'm glad, I know CNN picked it up. I don't know. I haven't seen clips of other shows, so I don't know. I'm assuming other outlets in the US picked it up as well and are talking about it. But again, it confirmed what Harry, we don't need confirmation because we, squatties, we've lived through this. So we know it's true. We don't need this to confirm anything. But a lot of people some of whom literally hate the Sussexes, are now saying, like, wow, what they're saying is the truth. So I was like, if nothing else, it has done that. So unbelievable. Oh, Letty, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. I'm going to jump in the chat for a second, and it's going to pull this down. Give me a second. Yep. Okay. And I'm going to jump in the chat for a second. Okay. C-Max says, when you share it, make sure you tag it. We stand with Meghan and we love Meghan. Okay, so when you're on social media, make sure that you use the hashtag we stand with Meghan and we love Meghan. So yeah, it's that hashtag was trending a bit. It might still be, there's like thousands and thousands on that trend. So definitely do that. I'm going to post this letter as well in the community page so that way you can have it and you can share it as well. So more and more people will sign it. So again, if nothing else, it is opening up people's eyes and the line is being drawn. It's like, okay, we will go this far, but no more. That's it. It's going to be drawn. And so, yeah. Sylvia says CNN should stop bringing on old U.S. royalist Sally Bedell. She is not a Sussex supporter. I saw a piece with her, actually. Someone posted a piece with her, and I don't know. I only saw the piece where they were asking her about this specific thing, and she, obviously she was condemning it as well. So I don't know. I only saw that. I'm assuming there was more to the interview, and I didn't see. But no, she is definitely a royalist. I literally couple of books of hers that I read about the Queen and one about Prince Charles. She's definitely a royalist. She is not going to be for the Sussexes. And again, I don't mind, it doesn't bother me if they bring on people who are not for the Sussexes. That it doesn't bother me. What bothers me is if they're lying about them. You can be fair in your people don't have to like Harry and Meghan. They don't. But don't lie on them. You know what I mean? Don't lie and don't, incite hate and violence on them. Again, people could love who they be fair. That's the only thing I ask with whether it's journalists or if you're coming on or if you're as a guest or whatever. You don't have to like them. Just be fair and not lie. And so that's my thing with that. So yeah. Let's see. Going up. Val says, Sunrags has been doing this forever. Don't forget the Liverpool tragedy. Yeah, it's so funny. The editor of the Sun, apparently someone said, and I hadn't gone in and looked, but someone said she is actually from Liverpool. And I was like, what? Because I know didn't they ban the Sun in Liverpool because of what happened, what they did. And I don't have all the details of all that happened there, but didn't they ban the Sun there? And so someone said she is from Liverpool. And it's just like, wow, that is, yeah. And again, the amount of eyes that Jeremy Clarkson's, his article had to go through for all of them to approve this. And again, the head editor of the Sun-Times is this woman. And she had to sit there and approve of a man talking about dragging a woman naked through the street and throwing feces at her. She had to approve that for that to get into print. And it's just like, there is this, it's like a whole nation of morally bankrupt people that is just, I am like, oh my gosh. It is literally like a cesspool. And I feel for those. It's not the whole country, obviously. There are people there that are like horrified that I would never, but it's like for them, my heart hurts because it's kind of like we have a lot of it here in the US as well. And it's just like, oh my gosh. But the good thing about the US is so massive. You don't have to deal with some of it if you don't want to deal with it. But when you're in a small country and you're like, only 50-something million people, and you're in a small, it's harder. The US is massive, so you can get away from some of the nutcases. But a lot of times I feel like in the UK, so it's like you're in a vacuum and it's just like, oh my goodness. I just, unbelievable. Lily Lamar, hello, Lily Lamar says, no, I don't accept what reporters are saying. They're saying justice for all women. That's like saying all lives matter and not Black Lives Matter. They need to say her name, Justice for Meg. Oh my gosh, I am so here with you, Lily. I literally tweeted that to a women's organization today because it's a woman, I don't remember what it's called, it's Women Something. And they basically tweeted what Jeremy Clarkson wrote. It's how dangerous it is to women and all of that stuff. Never even addressing Meghan. And I was like, say her name. Her name is Meghan Markle. That's who we was talking about. Say her name. And my thing to them was like, look, if you you cannot be a supporter on the sidelines, you either jump in or don't jump. You either come in or don't come, because that's exactly what they were doing. And a lot of these organizations in the UK, they're sort of like, oh, we want to sort of pretend we're not, ignoring the situation, but not really want to go because they don't want, they don't want to get backlash or whatever. And that's what it came across. So I'm like, if you don't want to, you can't be the supporter on the sidelines. You either jump in or don't jump at all. Don't come, just stay where you are. And so I am so here with you on that. I am so here with you, because a lot of them don't want to say, oh, I'm supporting Meghan, or this is wrong what you did to Meghan. It's the all women thing. And so I am so happy that, I'm so happy to see this post, because yes is exactly it. So thank you. Let's see. And again, with all of this abuse against women, again, one of the reasons I'm really happy that people are linking this to Camilla is that you're seeing the pattern with Camilla. And more people and blue checks and people with big platforms are calling her out and calling the royal family out, because again, Camilla is supposed to be advocating. This is her big platform that she's been telling people about. And then, again, that was one of the reasons Ngozi Fulani was at Buckingham Palace, but for her big, abuse and advocating for abused women, she's supposed to be this big advocate. People have put her as a patron of the anti-violence against women organizations. And with all of these things, Camilla has remained silent. And one of the reasons she's remained silent, because the people who are inciting the hate, the violence, are her friends in the press. Her friends in especially the tabloids, like her friend Jeremy Clarkson, like her friends at the Daily Mail. It's ridiculous. There is literally a picture of Prince Charles. I forgot. I didn't bring in a whole bunch of these things. I think I'm just gonna be like bombing you on the community pages with a whole bunch of pictures. But there's a picture of Victoria Newman, the editor from The Sun, posted the last day of Prince Charles, when he was the last day, he was a prince, when, I guess the next day, I guess he was, king, whatever. The last day, they posted a picture of her with King Charles. And it was just like, are you serious? Yep, there it was. And a reporter today posted that the head of the IPSO was apparently today, because I guess they were, meeting to decide whatever is going to happen with Jeremy Clarkson. He had a meeting or some kind of lunch or dinner, whatever, with Rupert Murdoch today. And the reporter is the one that I had to ask him, like, do you think that is a good thing that you are meeting with the head of the tabloid, the very tabloid that is at the heart of this whole thing? And then finally he's like, oh, well, I'll cancel it. And I was like, oh my gosh. It is, if you want to know why the British press is in the toilet that it is, that is alone will tell you. The head of the IPSO was meeting with Rupert Murdoch to have, dinner or whatever he's supposed to have, while he's supposed to be at the same time deciding what Rupert Murdoch's tabloid, what, maybe punishment or whatever for what Jeremy Clarkson did. And it's like, anyways, let's see. Joy says, ditto Marilyn M. The letter was heartwarming and gives me a little hope for some Brits. Whether you're talking about the other one, what the Squatties wrote, or this one that we just read, it does give some hope, because it shows that people are finally willing to stand up for something. Because, gosh, Squatties have been like begging them for how many years now to do something. And finally we've come to where people are like, okay, no, this is the line in the sand. We're not going further than this. And it had to be where somebody want to do all that stuff to Meghan to make people like, okay, no. It's amazing. Kenzie says, I'm convinced that she copies Meghan, hoping Meghan's hubby would notice her. In my opinion, she crushes on Harry, her sorry self. Not sure who you're talking about, and that's what happens when you jump in and you do a conversation and you don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you're probably talking about Kate. Don't know, but we will. If you want to share that, it's up to you. You don't have to. Sharon says, talking to Emma D, says, as long as it takes the heat off them, the hatred for Meghan will continue. I'm not sure I don't know who the them is you're talking about, but yeah. At least for a day or so, now that the pressure is on them, they can't oh my gosh, you guys, that girl posted a clip today of I think it was Jeremy Vine of one of those shows. Robert Jobson was one of those shows, and somebody called in and was calling him out as a liar. She was going, I was just like jumping and screaming when I saw that. She was calling him out, and and Jeremy Vine was like, oh no, you shouldn't say somebody's a liar. And she's like, no, he lied. He was lying. And exactly the point we were talking about, how he said one thing in for the Australian television and then said another thing for the BBC. She was calling him out for both, and he was trying to lie. It was just so hilarious. So I don't know if it was a squatty or not, but kudos to her. Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator, says, family, we all need to contact these stations, ABC, NBC, CNN. We can make a difference. I've already posted the contact info for ABC. I'll be posting the info for NBC and CNN as well. Please stay tuned. Oh, thank you so much, Cookies and Cream. Will you be able to either email it to me? Because I'd love to have that as well. I don't have, whatever contact information you have. If you can email it to me, and I also post it in our community page so that others can have it as well. So we can all be contacting them and letting them know we don't want these people on lying, which is what they do. Come here and lie. And these stations who are not doing their homework, just, you have an English accent? Sure, come on and lie to us. And we don't have to do any homework, so we can't challenge anything you say. So yeah, so thank you, Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator. Let's see. Shakan7 says, Caroline Flack's mother called LBC radio and condemned Jeremy Clarkson as her daughter committed suicide because of the press. And yep, that's her. This was so funny. I had that with Caroline Flack's mother today. It is I'm going to put a link in the show notes. The show notes and our community page, so you can hear Caroline Flack's mother talking about the same thing. Dan Wooten was one of the ones that wrote all these articles bashing Caroline Flack. Even there was a picture about with blood and all of that stuff, and Caroline Flack's mother was confirming, because that was written that it was her boyfriend's blood. It turns out it was Caroline's. And it was just like, she was so emotional, and it was just, and it's so funny when I was thinking of, and I may have talked about it on this on our show here before, when I was thinking about the people that, for Harry and Meghan's documentary, I was thinking about ways like, okay, wait, because we knew like, they were going to do with the press and really bring home the abuse of the press. Her mother was one of the people I was thinking would be a part of that, because if it were me, I would bring her on so she could share her story. I know she was a friend of Harry's, and she even mentioned Carolyn talking about Harry, and how Harry was so happy when he fell in love with Meghan, and so Carolyn told her mom, and so and she is not, she doesn't, doesn't hate the rest of the royals in the UK or anything like that, but it was so powerful and so heartbreaking to hear her talk about her daughter. And so when I was thinking about the Harry and Meghan docuseries, that was one of the people I was like, I would have brought her on. I would have want her to tell her story, because again, this is not just about Harry and Meghan. It's so many people, including their other friend, who, the same as Meghan, lost a baby because the Daily Mail hounded and hounded them, and it put them under so much stress that she also lost her baby. So I would have brought both of them. But that's just me. But it was just yeah, it was just really heartbreaking to hear her mother. And she just really was so supportive of Meghan, and really calling this out. So I am glad to hear that she is speaking out about it. So I think the more people talk about this, the more people are open and letting people know. And even if it's shaming people who are clicking on these articles, who are buying the Daily Mail, who are buying the Sun, even if it's shaming them into stopping so that and putting these papers out of business, then I'm all for it. So I am really happy. Hopefully, my hope is that she can hook up with the Sussexes and they can really, do whatever they need to do to take down these papers, because it has to stop. It's destroying too many lives, So yeah. But it was it's very, so again, I'm going to post it in our community page so that way you guys can hear what she has to say. Make sure you have tissues or something, because it's very heartbreaking. Marilyn says, Petal, what about the letter published by the Commonwealth? I applaud their effort. And yeah, that's the one I'm going to post, because I forgot to bring that in. I was kind of rushing. And so I will post it in our community page. It was written by a bunch of squatties who live in all parts, I guess, of the Commonwealth, and some main outside. And so they got together and wrote this letter. And that's the one I was talking about earlier. So I'm going to post it in our community page so you guys can read it. And also, please, if you're on social media, share it with them as well. So thank you so much, Marilyn. Let's see. Scrolling down. Rochelle says it should be sent to the U.S. Department of State because Meghan is a U.S. citizen, so it can be on the records. Oh, that's a good idea. I will mention that to Scobie. He's the one that posted it, and see if that could be done as well. Because again, they are trying to come to the U.S. to do the same thing. You see the same thing again with the New York Post and TMZ and all. They're all doing it. Again, they're all trying to do, and maybe this whole big thing blowing up with Jeremy Clarkson could put the brakes on that $1 billion let's hate Meghan Markle train. So hopefully. Nala Thandu says, greetings, Petal, Sussex family, and all the beloved squaddies. May God Almighty put the hedge of protection around you and your families permanently. Thank you so much, Nala Thandu, for that positivity. And I pray the same for our faves in Montecito. I definitely pray the same for them. Let's see. Kenita says, Jonesy, the Prime Minister, is living in cloud Coco land. Okay. The Daily Fail campaigned for Liz Truss to become leader of the Conservative Party. When Liz failed, he had a second attempt and won. Okay, so I'm not sure the root of this text or the or the post. So maybe I'll find it, or if you want to explain. Let's see. Let's go on. Donnelly says CNN is mourning for griffing a reporter who died. Okay, I did it. I saw earlier, but I don't know. I don't know that I ever saw him. But yes, there is a reporter from the CNN who passed away. Don't know how. So yeah. If you have television, or even if you're online, you can go and see or at least read about it. So that is very true. Oh, thank you, Karen. And she says RBG died in September 2020, and Meghan and Harry got her in their documentary. Yeah, it's so maybe they shot it then, obviously before she passed, or maybe it's clips from stuff she said before. Who knows? So it'd be very interesting to see, you know, yeah, how they do that. So we're excited for December 31st. So yeah. Let's see. Sharon Davis says, "Well, one thing we can say is that this has made Meghan worldwide. I mean, between the documentary series, which, by the way, it's just it's still number one in a lot of countries, including mine. It's now number 3 this morning. I saw in the U.S. But that's kind of flip flop. This U.S. is like flip flops all the time. So this morning when I saw it was number 3. Who knows what it's now? But it's still number 1 in a lot of countries. And so yeah, so that's doing great. It'll be very interesting to see the second part, which it seems like a lot more people love the second part more than they did the first part, because obviously there's a little more drama in it, which is, they the first part, they just weren't prepared. They weren't ready for what it was, especially the US press. They were looking for Kardashian reality TV, and it didn't dawn on them until after the fact that, oh wait, this is not that. Even though it was told it was a documentary, they just still didn't believe, and they believed the tabloids that it was going to be a fly on the wall, reality show. And so hence, yeah, now they've pretty much, settled into the fact of what it is. And so the reviews for the second part were very different from the first part. And yeah. Sylvia says, "Hello, Sally talked about Meghan so bad on CNN a while back. They had to cut her off." Oh my goodness, I didn't know that. "I guess someone at CNN told her she could not talk that way about Meghan if she wanted to come back on CNN as a royal reporter." Wow, I did not know that. Wow, interesting. I mean, I heard that she wasn't a fan. I didn't realize she did that. And it's amazing they brought her back. Amazing. Again, it just, hi. One of the things that I'm happy about, I see Royal Suitor, who's a squatty and she's a reporter, is that she is now getting onto a lot of different shows. She's been doing Byline, their podcast. She's been doing LBC a lot now, and so she's getting onto a lot of different shows, so that way we can have a credible reporting. So I think and I'm more about having your own platform, but I think that's maybe what some of us need to do. We need to start applying to get on these shows as reporters, because honestly, squatties know a lot more than the reporters that they're bringing on. And at least we have facts and we have receipts to back up what we're saying. A lot of them are just going on what they read in the tabloids, and they're not researching and doing the facts. So I think the strategy probably need to be that we need to, it's like, instead of complaining about the people that they're bringing on, it's like, you know what? It's time maybe I start like, okay, I know this. I can be your reporter. You need Black people underground. You need Black reporters, who will speak the truth and not listen to tabloid nonsense. And so, yeah. And so I think that's what needs to happen. So I'm really happy to see Royal Suitor be able to do that. And I think her name is Dessa. She was the one that came up with Sussex Squad, the name Sussex Squad. She also did an interview, which I'm yet to read. She also did an interview that she posts. I have all of them saved, so I have a bunch of interviews that I have to read through. So she's done that. I know Free Peeper, I think, has done a few interviews. So I think more and more squaddies need to do those interviews and try to get on network television, even though that's not my thing, so that we could be the ones speaking, because again, we know a lot more, and we actually have evidence to back up what we're saying. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, thank you so much. Let's see. Is W Smile, ISW Smile? Oh, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you. Um, LMZ says Camilla frustrated Queen Diana. Now she's doing it to Meghan. It is. I think it was my grandmother or somebody said, you know a person by the company they keep. Oh, I think my grandmother used to tell me that too. You know a person by the company they keep. So you should be careful about the company you keep. And it's funny, and not that, they're influencing her, because I think she's equally as bad. But it's like, you think about the company, it's like, Jeremy Clarkson, the Pierce Morgans, the tabloid friends that she has around, even say Susan Hussey, and all of them are involved in the racist misogyny, all of that stuff that especially been happening in the last few months with Camilla. And it's all about the people that are around her and the people that she associates with. And all of it dials right back to her. And it's kind of like she did the same thing to Princess Diana. And now again, it's so true. It's like she's doing it to Meghan. And of course, yeah, I don't have evidence that she's literally telling people, but it's just really wild that everything around her is racist, misogynist. I mean, it's again, you can tell you by the company you keep. And it's just, and of course, she has been silent. And I am hoping and praying that those domestic violence and organizations and in all of those organizations that support women who are victims of abuse in all forms, that who have her as a patron will take her off there and get rid of her. This woman is not an activist. She's not an activist. She's not an advocate for a violence against women. She is part of it. And so I am hoping, because I know a lot of people like, oh, it's a royal, having a royal. It's like, no. This woman will not stand up for you. This is when she does those stuff. It's all about her looking good. It's all about her getting publicity. It is not about the victims of domestic abuse or violence in any kind. Because if it was, she would have spoken up for Ngozi. She would have spoken up for 4 years. Or how much longer, 5 years, whatever. Meghan is 6 years been going through that. She would have spoken up. She never has. None of these people care. It's not about you. It's all about them getting publicity. So I am absolutely really, really, really hoping. So yeah. Sylvia says, Petal, thank you for jumping in and sending your text to these organizations, magazines, people, or anyone else that need to be questioned about the Sussexes nonsense. Not sure what you mean. You mean calling them out, or just explain, so I'm not assuming what you mean. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, Baron is on. Somebody's saying, Connie says Baron is on as well. Okay, I am gonna be done in a little bit. So you guys, if you need to jump to Baron, the replay is always gonna be here, so you can always come back and watch the replay. Not a problem at all. Baron is fun. I'll probably jump over there in a bit when I'm done, if I do have the time. So yeah. Let's see. Karen M says, everything Harry and Meghan does is for people, whether it's uplifting, betterment of their lives, or improving. They are the doers and not come empty-handed with a handshake or a smile. I'm telling you, isn't that amazing? With all the stuff going around them and all the disappointments and all of that stuff, it is just so amazing how they just come to give. They are here to give and to serve, and it's just amazing. And it is just, I mean, how cruel it is to go and attack people who are just literally here giving and serving. It's unbelievable. So, let's see. Anita says, Harry should respond to Clarkson disgusting remarks about his wife. He needs to defend her honor. These remarks about a Black woman is unacceptable. Whether I definitely, if he does, would be great as well. But I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're getting advice on what to do, if there's something they can do legally. I don't know. So whatever they decide to do, I'm sure him and Meghan will decide together and their legal team the best way to respond to this. It is, I mean, they've lived through the Piers Morgan for 6 years. It's and I think one of the best things they have done is this documentary, because they needed to open people's eyes to see the abuse, to understand where they are, so that and that is part of what drove this whole movement of people that no. This woman just literally a few days ago talked about how scared she is that you're trying to get people to kill her. This, you know what I mean? That is part of why there's this big, like, oh no, we're drawing the line in the sand here, and drawing people that normally wouldn't come together around an issue together. So we'll see. We'll see how they choose to handle it. It is so unfair, because they're doing so much good work. You want them to be focused on theirs, and again, this is a thing with racism. This is a thing with this stuff. It is there to it's like my Andrew says, it's a distraction. It's there. You're always going to be, someone is going to come at you with something, and they're always going to be moving the goalposts, and you can sit there and you can be, going back and no, this, or, defending yourself in all these different ways. And all it's there for is to distract you from the work you're doing. So another way of handling this would be focus on what you're doing, which is what I think, them dropping this new documentary today could be part of. Nope, I'm not going to let your racism, your misogyny, your sexism, your dirtiness distract me from what I am doing. And so that could be, that is definitely a very powerful response to that. So, it is just unbelievable. Oh, I'm missing something. Oh, Maggie, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Says, I want to wish you a happy Christmas. And thank you for your wonderful factual honesty podcast. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate your support, and Merry Christmas to you and your family. Much appreciated. Thank you. Let's see what else I have. Thank you, Maggie. Let's see. Oh, wait, I didn't mean to do that. So Roxanne Gay wrote this article, and I have not yet read this article. So I wanted to just highlight it so that I'm going to post the link in the show notes, and we'll talk about it next time. So I literally saw this the moment I was about to close the thing. I was like, oh, Roxanne Gay wrote an article about the Sussexes. So again, I have not read it, so I can't speak about it. But I just wanted to highlight it. I'm going to put it in to let you know. I'm putting it in the show notes, so read it, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. It says, for New York Times, I wrote about Harry and Meghan and their documentary, and how royal racism motivated them to block their blessings. And so she's been very supportive of Harry and Meghan. So it is really, really great to see people writing about them, and really, she's been really calling out the royal family as well. So kudos, Roxanne. So yeah, so I look forward to reading the article. Again, I wanted to highlight it here so that way you guys know I'm putting it in there. We can read it together and talk about it tomorrow. So thank you. Let's see. Oh, Alan Vernon, thank you so much for your donation. Says, I cannot believe Chuck kept letting his mistress wife go out and make a fool of him in his reign. I'm telling you. I think the thing that I'm seeing with the royal family is like they've always been like this, is that it's just been hidden, and they have not had to deal with social media, which they can't regulate. So they can't hide with social media. We are going to call them out, and nobody can, if we want to, call them out in any way, there is nothing, to block us out other than if, Elon Musk do his craziness and kick us off, Twitter or whatever, or whomever, kick us off their platform or whatever. They have no power over social media. And so they have not, used to being exposed like this. And so I'm like, eventually they're going to have to come into, they're going to have to come into 2022 or 2023 where we're heading to. So it's very, yes. Yes. But I am happy people are calling them out, and now even reporters are calling them out. People with huge accounts are linking them to all this racism. Eventually they're going to have to deal with it. Eventually they're going to have to realize that tabloids can't protect them, because again, they're dealing with a worldwide audience. They're dealing with a global audience. And so, pretending to not say anything, of course, we know that they leak like a sieve to their tabloids and, hide behind them so they can claim plausible deniability, but eventually they'll figure out that, wow, we can't, our tabloids can't cover for us anymore, and we're gonna have to deal. So whether that means them, sucking up to the Sussexes or not, I mean, there is also this this lying article from Roya Nika who just lies. I'm like, I'm like, Roya, the voices in your head is not a credible source of information. Stop lying. This woman just lies. Like Harry and Meghan, they are demanding a meeting with, or whatever, with the Charles and I guess Prince Charles and whatever. Prince Harry literally said in the documentary, he literally says, we will never fully get full, accountability. We won't get an apology. So we've moved on. The man literally said it. But lying Roya Nika with the voices in her head and nothing to talk about decides, oh no, they're demanding an apology. And it's like, oh. And that is why I am so happy that the Sussexes did this. So we can literally just, get a clip of their actual words and post it. Say, no, that's not what they said. You are listening to the voices in your head again. It's just amazing. And again, Roya Nika is on CBS all the time. And it's just like, okay, we need to stop that. We need to change that. So yeah. So I agree, Cookies and Cream. We need to be definitely contacting them and be like, okay, can I be your royal correspondent? Because Roya Nika is a liar. I mean, again, Roya Nika is a liar. I've trended on Twitter for a reason. Amazing. Oh, Loretta, thank you, Loretta Memphis. Thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it. Thank you for your awesome support. I appreciate it. Let's see. Do I have anything else? Let's see. Oh, I don't. So I'm going to just take this off for a second, and I am going to come into, like I said, I didn't have a plan. I just brought in some stuff and forgot some stuff, unfortunately. Let's see. A few more before we go. Again, thank you so much, Loretta Memphis. Gwendolyn says they're trying to blame Meghan for Harry's jailbreak. And he should still be in the institution for William's slave. Of course. I mean, Harry literally talked about that in the documentary, how misogynistic it is. And it's like, he's like, I made that decision. I made that decision for my family. But again, the Black woman trope, the demanding, controlling Black woman. So of course, she took poor Harry's kicking and screaming to live in a beautiful mansion, dragged him out of the pits of Frogmore and dragged him into California, kicking and screaming because, she is a mad, Black, angry Black woman. Yeah, of course. Unbelievable. Let's see. V. Thomas says, in the docuseries, Meghan mentioned people doing exactly what this terrible man did. Yeah. Meghan and Harry are smart. They know they need to have the advice of their legal teams. Of course. Yeah. I mean, whatever, if they choose to do anything about it, definitely their legal team. Because especially with the IPSO being useless, Don't know if it's, because again, what he did is a hate speech. That, can it be prosecuted as hate speech? Can it be prosecuted as inciting violence against a woman? Which I would think, but again, I don't know the laws in the UK. I don't really even know the laws in the UK, in the US, a lot of it. So I need to learn, if something like that, like what he said, and it's printed in paper, if you can prosecute that in the US as is. So I don't know the law for that, as in other situations I know, just not this one. So I definitely don't know the law in the UK. So their team at Shillings, I'm sure, is on the up and up. So there. Lydia says, thanks. Oh, thanks for the article links. Yes, I'll be linking all of those articles and sending you. You're gonna be tired of me in the community page because I'll be posting a whole bunch of stuff in there. So, and I will post all the links for you. Yeah. Let's see. Terry H. Hello, Terry says, Alan, his wife is running the show because, he's spineless and weak with no leadership skills. I don't know who you're talking about. I just jumped in a conversation. Don't know who you're talking about. So, okay, whomever it is, get some leadership skills. Let's see. Genuine Kathy says, I would like to know how the mobile heater in Archie's room mysteriously started to smoke. If Archie was in that smoke-filled room, he would have died of a smoke inhalation. Yeah, absolutely. And to hear the palace say, oh, it was only smoke, it wasn't fire. It's like, you really realize that people die of smoke inhalation. That's usually what really kills, Well, yeah, you can die by the fire as well, but a lot of times before that even get to you, the smoke inhalation is what will kill you. So, and for that little baby, he was like, 4 months at the time. In no time, that would have taken that baby out. So thank you, Nanny Lauren, or Nurse Lauren, I should say, for having, that was God that protected that baby, protected both of them. So yeah. Sylvia says Harry has to speak up for this one and stop talking to Royal Rhoda. Meghan has sacrificed a lot for him. He is not the target of it is our Meghan. Again, I'm sure they will figure that out and decide how they're going to deal with that with their legal team. And they don't talk to the Royal Rhoda. They have no connection with the Royal Rhoda. They've, if you remember, twice they've put out those statements. They do not in any way communicate with the Royal Rhoda in any way. So that is, they don't communicate with any of the tabloids there or any of that stuff. I'm sure they'll go to their lawyer and decide what is the best response, if any, that they will do. But again, whether they decide to respond or not, respond in the sense of addressing this specifically, the conversations it's sparking, the advocacy it's sparking, it's such an incredible step forward because, again, people have been silent about this. The squad have been screaming at people to speak up for 6 years, and finally people are speaking up. And even people who hate the Sussexes are speaking up and against it. So if they decide, our response is that we're going to focus on our work and not be distracted, which this is, that's why they throw this stuff at you, to distract you from the great things you're doing so that you can focus on them. I don't blame them either. Again, I go right back to Maya Angelou. Toni Morrison. I think it's Toni Morrison that said it. The very function of racism is to distract us. So again, whichever choice they decide, it's, I am with them with it because they can go either way. And again, the docuseries that's going to drop in December is a great way to be like, nope, we're focused on our goal. You stay over there and be racist and do whatever and stay in your cesspool. We're going to focus on what we're focusing on. And so, yeah. And in a lot of ways, I feel like they've spent so much of their time, fighting and battling tabloids. It's like, there comes a time where it's like, no, we're going to focus. You stay over there and be racist. It's, so however way they decide, I'm with them. Let's see. Lydia says, very sad, Sylvia. But we will not tire out. Sadly, we have defended Lily from our retirement home. We won't tire. And then, again, if you're tired, take a break. Take a break. There are squatties worldwide that are fighting this. There are squatties that I saw in that spaces yesterday I'd never seen before in my life. And so it's just like, there are many around the world. So if you need to take a break, it's a long battle. Please take a break. Yeah, it's amazing. Nala Thandu says, congratulations to Harry and Meghan. More achievements are coming to Harry and Meghan. And that's the thing. That's why they're trying to distract them. That's why, because again, they were all counting on this the Harry and Meghan docu-series crashing and burning. They were all counting on Netflix and, and Spotify to be kicking them to the curb. They're all counting on them to fail. And all of a sudden, their docu-series are, breaking records, being, number one, breaking records for Netflix. Meghan's podcast is winning awards. They're winning awards. I mean, this is what they're doing, is throwing all of that at them to focus on them so that they will, not focus on the work that they're doing. Because if Harry and Meghan succeed, then you have to then explain why you have a monarchy. You really then gonna have to be like, wait a minute, we are paying you 100 and something, more like 300 and something million when you include security. We're paying you all that money to do what? When Harry and Meghan are not getting taxpayer funds and they are accomplishing all of this stuff. What are you doing? By the way, something else that's coming into your community page. The ratings for Earthshot, 3.4 million people out of 50, 60 million people in the UK. Ratings, 3.4 million people watched Earthshot. It was number 10 for BBC programming, and it didn't even make the top 20 overall for the week. This is the future king, can only get 3.4 million people to watch his show. That is up from, 0.2 million from last year. I think last year it was like 3.1. This year it was 3.4 million. Compared to 80 million watching hours of Netflix of Harry and Meghan show in just the first 3 episodes. Heaven knows what it's going to be when the ratings come out. I think maybe tomorrow or Wednesday for the second batch of episodes. So you can see the failure. And so if Harry and Meghan are succeeding, then what happened? I mean, think about it. Has anybody thought of the Earthshot Prize since Harry and Meghan's docuseries came out? No, nobody's talking about Earthshot. Everybody has forgotten about Earthshot. I only remember today when I was like, oh, wait a minute. I wonder. I forgot about it. So again, they are throwing all this stuff at Harry and Meghan to make them take their eyes off of what they're doing because they need them to fail. They need Harry and Meghan to fail in order for them to prop up the Cambridges. Because if Harry and Meghan are succeeding and the Cambridges are obviously failing with social media, they cannot hide their failure, then what is going to happen to the monarchy? And again, the way how they make money is by selling people the false narrative and the fairy tale of the royal family. How are you going to sell a failure? It's the reason why network television did not pick up Earthshot, because they're not going to buy something that with a 3-point-something rating in your own country. So how are you going to sell a failure to people? Eventually, people are going to get smart to the fact that, wait a minute, Harry and Meghan are not getting taxpayer funds, and they're getting 80 million people to watch 3 of their episodes last week. And then we are paying the Cambridges, all this, at least close to 350 million, at least for their sovereign grant, for the monarchy sovereign grant, and they can only get 3.4 million. The amount of engagements they did just came out. Again, I'm going to bring that in tomorrow, and we'll talk about their engagements. Kate only, again, there are 365 days in a year. Kate only did 90 engagements for the whole 365 days. And again, their engagements are 45 minutes when they go out. And a lot of that are phone. We did a lot of their engagements when I put it on the calendar earlier, a few episodes back, I don't know, for a few months ago. And a lot of her engagements are via the phone and Zoom. The same thing with William. He only did 120 something engagements. Again, there are 365 days in a year. You're paying these people all this money for only 90, 45-minute engagements. And some of them are phone calls and Zooms. You're going to have to explain that to the people, especially when you are in a cost of living crisis. So again, which is why I understand if Harry and Meghan say, I am not going to focus on you. I'm going to win over here, because you then going to have to deal with the fact that you're going to have a very angry public that's going to start questioning why I'm giving all this money to billionaires when I cannot feed my family, when I can't heat my home, and I don't have food to give my kids when they're going to school. You're going to have to explain that. And then you have in next year, next March, they're going to have a coronation. How are they going to pay for that? They're going to have to explain how you're going to be paying for a coronation when people can't feed their homes and you're not producing. You're literally not producing. You're failing. And the Sussexes, again, are winning. And so I am, whatever Harry and Meghan, part of me feel like, no, let them stay over there in their failure. Let's focus on our stuff, because the people of the UK are the ones that's going to have to rise up against them. They're the ones that's going to have to get clued into the fact that, wait a minute, we are being robbed and robbed blind by these people. And they're going to be the ones to take them down. So again, wherever they are and whatever they do, it's not tenable. You can't keep that. Whatever model that they use, how long can they keep that going? You can't sell failure. So there you go. Anyways, a couple more before we end. Michelle doesn't agree with me. Michelle Fierce says, "Fellow, I love you, but I don't agree with you. Wanting so many people being on the show is just a few hours. Let's just trust Harry and Meghan every time. Let's just trust Harry and Meghan every time. Everything in time. Everyone have 100 people they feel should be invited." Are we talking about, I'm not sure I understand. Are you talking about the docu-series when I was saying that I would have loved to have Carolyn Flack's mom? I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. So, and that's totally fine. What they did with it was amazing. I was just saying, for me, I'm a director and I'm a producer. So I think in terms of how, if I was directing it and if I was producing it, what I would have done if I wanted to drive home that point even more is I would have definitely brought on Carolyn Flack's mom. And again, one, because she does have a connection to Harry. She was a friend of Harry's. Actually, someone said that they dated for like a second for a long time ago, but they were friends. And also they're also friends with the other couple who, they used to stand up for Harry and Meghan a lot. But then the Daily Mail went after them, trying to, whenever people are friends of Harry and Meghan, they go after them, and she lost her baby because of what they did. And so for me, I always think with stuff like that, I always think in terms of, as a director or as a producer, who if I wanted to drive that point home more, those are the people I would bring on as well. But I totally get your point. You don't have to agree with me. So I totally accept that. I totally accept your being not agreeing with me. So that's fine. You don't have to agree. That's okay. But thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate that. Let's say. Sylvia says, Petal, I did not say Harry talked to the royal rota. I said he has not take his royal stand. Wait, Petal, I did not say, oh, sorry. I apologize. I guess I misread what you wrote. So sorry about that. So you said, I did not say Harry talked to the royal rota. I said he has to not take his royal stand. He has to not take his royal. What do you mean by that? I'm not sure what you mean. Explain. Sometimes I don't understand what I read. So explain that a little bit further. But I apologize. I definitely misread what you said. So apologize for that, Sylvia. Thank you for correcting that. And letting me know that I was wrong in that. So I appreciate that. Church Nelly, our awesome moderator, says, notice that the unroyal family is completely silent. Yes. And that silence is very, very, very loud and getting louder by the day. And more people are commenting on how loud their silence is. And more people are commenting on the fact that they are supposedly advocates for women, who have been abused. Very, very loud. And I am so happy to see that. Because people's eyes need to be open that these people are not what you think they are. They're not advocates. When they do these events, it's for them. It's for their publicity, not yours. Let's see. Beverly Isidore says, I wonder what did Prince William text Harry because from Prince Harry's reaction and Meghan went to console him. It wasn't pleasant. I know. And a part of me feel like they're probably letting William know, yeah, I got receipts from what you said, whatever it is. And I love the fact that they didn't tell us what it is, because now William knows whatever it is he says. And he said to them in that text that Harry has it. And so it was very clever that they did it that way. Very, very clever. And it's just like, but yeah, it was really like, whoa, whatever that is. And I guess that was right around we are very much not a royal family. And he did say he was going to contact his brother. So whether he did it before or, after that time, whatever. But yeah, it just... Will that be in Harry's book? Who knows? I am nosy. I want to know. I would definitely want to know that. V. Thomas, oh yes, Toni Morrison that said that. Thank you very much for confirming that. Thank you. So yeah, very, very, very important. The very function of racism is distraction. And yeah. Let's see. Oh, Cookies and Cream says, what is your email address to send it? Oh, sure. It's faxand2cents@gmail.com. So anybody who wants to send me anything, it's faxand2cents@gmail.com. In our show notes are all our contacts for the podcast. So anytime you want to see, it's faxand2cents@gmail.com. And so definitely send it to me, and I'll post it in our community page with the other tons of things I'll be posting there. So that way you will have it. And please, please, please contact them. So the more of us write into them, then it's one of the reasons I think whomever it is that Camilla Tominey was on, we kind of blanketed them. I think it was NBC she was on. We blanketed them. It's like, no. And she seemed to be no more. So there. So we definitely have to do that again. And again, we need to also speak up. If some of us are into broadcasting or journalism, whatever, we can also apply, figure out ways where we can get on the show. So that way we are the ones doing it. At least, again, we are much better at this than they are. At least we're not going to lie. At least we have receipts. So there. Karen M says, I wonder what Mandela's son will say about this one, since he had something negative to say before. Probably. I'm sure the British tabloids, the Daily Mail that got one of them, and then the Piers Morgan that got the other. Look out for them, because they will be on there. They will be saying something negative. So brace yourselves. Definitely brace yourselves for it. Let's see. Joanna says, maybe we should start our own British paper and report on the royals the same way they report on Meghan. Joanna, go ahead and do it, please. Please start it. Please, please, please. We need it because, again, it's one thing to criticize what they're doing and always be responding to what they're doing. It's a whole other thing when we have our own outlet where we can drive the narrative. You know, why should we allow them to always drive the narrative? And that's why I'm like, look, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to write, if you whatever, I have to get back to my blog because I kind of got busy. But whatever it takes, and if you are a writer and can get with others and start a paper, gosh, a blog, whatever, and just send it around so people can be sharing it, so so we can support each other and do it. Yes, go ahead and do it. So please, Joanna, I'll be looking out for your newspaper, because apparently in the UK there's only one Black outlet, which is The Voice, which obviously we all kind of went after them for letting King Charles edit their ish. I will never get over that. I will just I think today, I think it was today or yesterday, I think it was today, they were tweeting about this stuff with Jeremy Clarkson, like his non-apology. I didn't even respond because I was like, if I would respond to you, it would not be pleasant. So I was just stayed away. I wouldn't even touch that. Then I was like, whatever. Maybe they have changed. So yeah. So Beverly Isidore says, though they step away as senior royals, Prince Harry and Meghan are still the most popular royals, and Prince William and Kate are mad about that. That's why they are leaking to the royal rotas. I mean, if you'd ask the British tabloids, Harry and Meghan are at the bottom of the barrel, even though they're number one in everything. They're at the bottom of the barrel, and this, the Cambridges are at the top. The numbers don't back any of that up, but that's their thing with their bogus little polls. So anyways, oh, thank you so much, Cookies and Cream. I appreciate it. Yeah. So and anyone else who needs us, email again, factsand2cents@gmail.com. Let's see. Sir Lily says, can Duchess Meghan go to King Charles III coronation? Well, if she's invited, she can go if she wants to. If for me, I rather them stay away. But again, I'm not family, so don't be surprised. Would I be surprised, honestly, if they went? No, I wouldn't. Just as I wasn't surprised that they went to the Jubilee. Again, it's this crazy thing with family. It's just crazy. So whether they choose to go, if they choose to go, I'll support them. If I'm not, I'll support them. They are adults. They know what's best for them and their family. So, my thing, I'd rather them stay in the U.S. for safety under their tree in Montecito. But again, I'm not family. So easy for me to say. Rochelle says, yeah, Pelosi should also make recommendations like Royal Suda and Henry. Yes, absolutely. When we're writing to them, yes, please, let's make recommendations. We can also get their, if you're on Twitter, get their handles and put it in there so that they can check them out as well. So yeah, those would be fantastic, fantastic reporters to get there. Fight back, because again, the British press and the British tabloids and American tabloids are at this moment teaming up to work. And right now they are very much intent on making sure this $1 billion we hate Meghan Markle train keep going. So that's where we are. So let's see. Eoma says, silence in this is consent. The whole world is in shock about the true nature of the British royal family and the press. I'm telling you. And for me, my thing with that is like, why are you shocked? My thing is like, you have sat there and watched this. I mean, it's not like we have not been screaming this to the top of our lungs, but you've allowed it. You have sat there and allow this to go. What do you think will happen with this sort of thing? All it does is escalates. It keeps pushing and pushing and pushing until you say no. And so, yeah. And if nothing happens, if there are no consequences, then you can be sure they will cross it. They will keep going. So yeah. Anyways, Michelle Fear says Harry and Meghan are not superhuman. They're doing the best they can, and they have to pick and choose. They can't go after everyone for who's being nasty to them, and let's give them a break, please. No pressure. There you go. Yeah, they can't. And again, which is why I love the fact that they're focusing on their projects, and however they decide to choose to do it, I'll support them. However they decide to handle it. I mean, they've been through enough. Harry is already suing. He has 2 lawsuits against the Daily Mail, and has the lawsuit against the Home Office. I mean, it's a lot. They have a family. They need to also have fun and enjoy their life and the things that they're doing. So yeah, that's a lot for a young family. So let's see. A couple more before we end. Let's see. Hmm. Hope's Garden says, yes, church. Oh, she's talking to Church Nelly. Very comfortable silence, loving it because no one has put them in their place like this before. Booyah. Who are you talking about? The royal family? I love that. Booyah. Yep. Let's see. Part of the docuseries were only about Harry and Meghan's experience, hence why they didn't bring others' experience into it. Great point. That is absolutely a great point. So yeah, absolutely a great point. So thank you. I love the different thoughts about it. Yep. Emerald says yes, their silence is deafening. I'm telling you, that silence is so loud. Oof. Valerie says London Bridge is burning down and the Unroyals are doing themselves in 1066. There are so many own goals there that is like, I cannot. I'm like, is there any common sense? Somebody in this place with common sense who could figure their way through? I mean, it's just like the lying for no reason, the silence for no reason. There are just so many ways. It's like if anybody in this place has 1 ounce of common sense, they could figure. And it's just, and again, when you're used to these traditions that worked back in the day, you just assume it works in 2022, and they've just refused to change it. So who knows? Exactly. We're gonna stay with what got us here, I guess. Let's see. Sheila Jones says less than an hour engagements on average 100 times a year give or take on failed and useless activities. So what duties did Harry and Meghan abandon and should return to help with and save the ungrateful country, crown and country? And that's the thing, they're like, they're gonna come back, they're gonna have this, they should have this bridge for them to come back. And it's like, come back to what exactly? What exactly would Harry and Meghan come back to? The people who are doing it don't even want to do it. They're getting millions to do this. They don't even want to do it. You could tell they're just going to go in through the motions. What exactly are Harry and Meghan going to come back to exactly? And so it's like they just don't understand like what they're doing. And they just seem to like, no, we are stuck doing this thing that nobody wants to do. Nobody's happy doing it. It's drudgery. But yet and it's just like, at what point you're going to understand that you literally could change this. You don't have to be stuck in drudgery. And it's just like, why would I want to come back? Why would they want to come back to that? And I'm glad Harry and Meghan put that whole nonsense, that you should strip them of their crown, title nonsense. So there you go. So anyway, one more before we go. Celia says that they are just scared if they abolish the monarchy, there is no job for them, which is exactly the fact. That's why American media as well, who are really invested in selling the fairy tale of the monarchy to Americans, are also very shady and negative towards the Sussexes, because when Harry and Meghan did that documentary, that also affected American press. When they're because part of that is exposing the American press, and that's why this negative thing, with some in the US as well. Because you take away the fairy tale and you take away the nonsense of that fairy tale, the money dries up. Because if nobody buys the fairy tale, nobody makes money. And so they all have a vested interest in making it happen. So yeah, if that fairy tale and that monarchy is abolished, all their jobs are going with it. So that's why they are fighting so hard to destroy the Sussexes. But we just gonna fight to keep them alive and prosperous and happy doing whatever it is they do. So there you go. And plus, we just love it. We love the fun things they do. We love the exciting stuff they do. So yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Trish, Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out. Oh my gosh, I completely forgot. I was asked to do the Amazon wish list, and I forgot. So, but I'm not going to do Amazon wish list. I make soaps, and I'm going to put a link to my soap store, which it's closed at the moment, but I'm going to open it for a week. If you'd like to purchase some soaps, that would be a great way to do an Amazon wish list thing. That way, if you'd like to buy it, then I will make the soaps and send it to you. So that way you have something for your donation. And they're really great soaps. They are natural soaps, oatmeal honey soaps that is what I use, the only thing I use on my skin, and that's really great for me. So I will open up my store for like a week, and if you're interested, that would be a great way if you want to purchase some soaps. It might get to you by the New Year's, because Christmas is right here and it's not going to get to you in time. But so again, I completely forgot until today. So if you're interested, I'm going to put the link in the show notes. And that way, if you'd like to purchase some soaps for the new year, that would be awesome. And that way, if you don't, your donation means you get something back in return. So that would be awesome. So thank you guys for even considering it and thinking of me in this way. I really appreciate it. But moving on, again, thank you guys to our awesome moderators and to our awesome 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of you are wonderful squaddies who donate, whether it's PayPal, Cash App, Super Chat, Super Thanks, Super Stickers, all the ways that you donate to the channel. I appreciate so much your support that you really give from the kindness of your heart. So thank you guys so much. I will chat with you tomorrow. Again, look out at some point today in the community page. I'll be posting a bunch of stuff in there, so that way you can get all the stuff. So thank you guys again. I love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.